Hello, 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 everybody. It's me, Nikki, and Les. Hope you guys are having a good week so far, a good Wednesday.
A black tabulous day.
Yeah, that. So, we're going to get into it today. We want to talk about Michigan.
Michigan.
We're going to talk about what they did with certifying their vote for the Electoral College. And also, people are wondering if this can happen in other states, which is one of the things that I was concerned about. I know that people do unspeakable things when they're desperate. So and when they're definitely trying to stay in power. So yeah. If you're out there, shoot us a hello so we know that you're there. Hopefully everybody is having a great day. We got some videos we want to show you guys a little later on. Canvassers, that's what they're called. So in case you hadn't heard, there were 4 canvassers in the state of, sorry guys, my eyes itching. There were 4 canvassers in the state of Michigan, split down the party line, 2 Republican, 2 Democratic. So there were some regular election issues that nothing that would overturn, the election or overturn the votes. As a matter of fact, I think the lady was saying there was 42% of it this time and 86% of it in 2016. It's stuff that gets cleared up. It's mainly clerical errors. Is basically what it boils down to. But because there were these clerical errors, the Republicans didn't want to certify. So they ended up having a, was it a town meeting? No, it wasn't a town meeting. Give me a second. It was I need my glasses, y'all. I swear, ever since I got these new glasses, I have to keep them on. And I keep telling myself, no, you don't. And then my eyes are like, yeah, but you do. Okay, so there was I don't believe it was a town hall meeting, but there was a meeting with the canvassers, basically. All right. And the people of Wayne County, Michigan, showed up and showed out. They were like, you are not going to disenfranchise our votes. This is voter suppression. Their voices were heard. And after the meeting, the canvassers reversed their decision, and it was unanimous 4-0 to go ahead and certify the votes for the Electoral College. Now it has more steps to go through, but this is the initial step. What the Republicans wanted to do was they wanted the Secretary of State there to open up an investigation and investigate these clerical errors and this, that, and the other, which would have taken them an additional 10 days. So they wouldn't meet their actual deadline for certifying the Electoral College votes. And of course, Detroit is in that, I think it's Wayne County. If you guys, can you hear that loud noise outside? Hold on, let me mute that. Go ahead, Wes, I'm gonna mute.
I mean, you might as well go ahead. You're on the roll. Don't let that noise bother you.
No, but it's really loud here. Let me put my garage down.
Okay. Give her a minute to come back. Let her finish her thoughts for the day.
Sorry about that. It looks like there's an ambulance outside. I don't know what's going on, but they're making a lot of noise. Anyway, what's up? What's up, Macon?
Right.
So basically, like I was saying, it's not going to stop them from certifying the votes for the Electoral College. But I'm just so proud of everybody, not just blacks, but everybody came out in anger because they knew what it was. It was a red herring. Go ahead and explain to the viewers what that is, Les.
Just a distraction. And there's going to be many, many more red herrings to come along.
Hey, sis. My sis Louie. I'm glad you can watch, hun.
I don't think that, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be an issue with the new administration coming on board. That's not what this is about, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What it's about right now is just causing some distractions because there's some other things that are jumping off that we don't even know about. It would be in our best interest just to chill out, get informed, see what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and take it from there.
Yeah. So I was watching. I'm a news junkie. I was watching.
You watch?
I was watching CNN today.
You don't watch Fox?
Sometimes I do. You know, you got to listen to what they have to say. So these are the foreign policy moves that the current administration is contemplating on making in the final weeks. Of course, we know about the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan and Iraq, considering sanctions trade restrictions on China, floating options to strike Iran nuclear site, 23 billion arms sale to the UAE, diplomatic visit to Israeli West Bank settlement, and considering terrorist designation for Yemen's Iran-backed, I don't know what kind of rebels they are, Houthi rebels. So he's trying to make it difficult, I guess, for the new administration to get off on solid footing. But
well, he's going to be behind the 8 ball anyway.
Yeah, I mean, with the pandemic and everything. But this is my thing for anyone who supports him. How is this making America great again? Please, somebody explain this to me, because this not only affects the administration that's coming in, it affects the American people. Where are the Republicans and the Democrats on stimulus talks, on stimulus works? People are lined up in food banks. People are losing their homes. People are dying. Where's our leadership? It feels like they just decided, oh, we're just going to go home. And I'm tired of the Democrats blaming the Republicans and the Republicans blaming the Democrats. Everybody needs to get off their ass and do their fucking job. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. And what I really don't understand is we just had an election. Okay? These people weren't doing their job before the election, but you get idiots who put them right back into office to continue to not do their jobs, and then they want to complain. So Karen says everything paused until January. I wish that could happen, but that's not. I mean, there's no transition right now, which is crazy. Well, I shouldn't say it's crazy. It's predictable. And it's really sad. But
I think it's a transition going on. We're just not seeing it.
What do you mean? You think that? Well,
I mean, listen, things are constantly moving all the time. We're just not privy to it. See, we are accustomed to a smooth transfer in power. You know, let's go back. before we had Obama, we had Bush, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before we had Bush, we had Clinton, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we've seen cooperation from the last 3 presidents,
Mm-hmm.
up until now, right?
Mm-hmm. 12 years. Mm-hmm.
Right. So things are still happening. It's that we are accustomed to a certain decorum, pomp and circumstances, a certain show. And now that we're not seeing it, and folks are, they tripping. But the bottom line is that things are still happening. Now, yeah, is it going to put the next administration behind the 8 ball? Yeah. Is he going to have to come out working hard? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
things are happening. From my understanding, Biden was getting briefed today.
Right. He has set up his own. He's got people that used to be government employees but are no longer. So they're still working, and that's the one good thing about this particular president-elect is that he understands how the office works. We have a comment.
Mm-hmm.
So Karen says, that's one good thing about the UK system. We have civil servants who serve the state no matter who is in power, and those people don't change with the administration. The wheels keep moving.
Yeah, civil.
Yeah. But before we get too far out, I wanted to show this video of this is Reverend Wendell Anthony. He is the pastor of Fellowship Chapel and head of the Detroit NAACP. This was his message yesterday when they voted to not move ahead with the vote.
You look at black cities, you have extracted a black city out of a county and said the only ones that are at fault, at an issue, is the city of Detroit, where 80% of the people who reside here are African Americans. Shame on you. Shame on you for leading to this level of corruption. You have disavowed your right to even sit in the seats that you occupy. You are a disgrace as relates to the ability to have a free and impartial election in this nation.
Very strong words. Very strong words. I was like, wow. But we need, in the black community, we need more leaders to speak out and call BS. Bullshit or black spasms. Either one. Take your pick. Take your pick.
I think the ones that are going to speak out are going to be your grassroots leaders,
Mm-hmm.
the grassroots pastors. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the ones that are in leadership positions.
Okay. Well, yeah, you like your Sean Kings and your Tamika Mallory's, your Gary Chambers, your people like that. Definitely. Karen, do you guys have like here we have Republicans and Democrats. We have a two-party system. Is that what you guys have over in the UK, or is it just like you said, civil servants? There is no particular party affiliation. Because I don't know if this country could run that way. I mean, you have some that are supposed to be, nonpartisan, but I don't know.
I want to hear this response.
What, Karen? Yeah, Karen, I don't know how the UK system works. If it's just if everybody's civil servants, or if they have party affiliations over there. I will say that I saw a touching story about Ireland. I've always wanted to go to Ireland, okay? But Biden's great-great-great-grandfather, I think, is from Ireland. And so they were in Dublin talking to his third cousin. And it made me smile to see all these American flags just hanging over in Ireland. I was like, wow. So there are a lot of leaders who are happy and who are glad that, you know, we're going to come under new leadership soon. So I don't know if Karen's still on. Are you still there, Karen? She might not be. She might. You know, it's late over there. So
That's right. She's in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so,
listen. You know, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what we need to do moving forward is how are Black people going to deal with the future?
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep in mind, as we were talking earlier, Black people weren't brought over here to be servants. They were brought over here to be the underclass. You know, and we're still the underclass. I was listening to Amy Goodman this morning, WPFW, not the War and Peace report, but the Corona report. And she was talking about, I think yesterday there was a total of 1,700 deaths
Yes.
in the United States of America.
Yes.
And she was listening to an interview where they said that Black people are the highest race of people that will get this coronavirus. The coronavirus report.
Mm-hmm.
Black and brown, Black first and brown people are subjected to get this coronavirus quicker than any other race or nationality on the planet.
Because of our underlying conditions. High blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes. I mean, and that comes from, you know, people living in poverty, not having proper health care.
Is all of it, I mean, yeah, is all of it contributed to not having proper health care versus maintaining a diet that's not beneficial to them? Got a comment. I'll hold that.
So Elena says, Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same evil coin. I heard it said recently that Republicans are pro-life for fetus, but not people, and that Democrats are pro-life for people, but not fetus. Man, I mean, you're right. You're right, Elena. It's nobody's perfect, and you know we gotta figure out how to narrate, you know, in this corrupt system that you know that we have. I just think that, you know, everybody wants to blame 45 for this, that, and the other, and my thing is, he didn't invent racism.
No.
Okay. All he did was shine a light on what was already there. It was just, to some of us, it was dark. To some of us, they thought, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it still existed. Those are people that aren't Black. Everybody's Black realizes and knows that racism still exists. So, you know, sometimes I don't like how, not that I am an advocate for him or not, but sometimes I just think that when you listen to certain media, they're unfair for things. Like they actually said, you know, should this administration get credit for the vaccines that are coming out? I'm like, why wouldn't they? They had, you know, they had warp speed. He enacted the Defense Production Act to get this thing spearheaded. So why wouldn't this administration get credit for it? Like, it's that kind of stuff and thinking on certain news channels that just irk me. Like, you may not like the man, but I'm the type of person, I give credit where credit's due, even if I don't like you. You know, it's just because people work hard, you know, for what they accomplish. Black, white, don't matter. But I know people are probably not going to agree with me on that one. So that's just my 2 cents.
I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, if it fits him, give him credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board. But right before Elena chimed in, we were just talking about, are we responsible for like the underlying health conditions that a lot of people have? And I'll say Black people. Is the majority of that because of proper health care or just holding on to old traditions and poor eating habits?
Well, okay. So Keke Palmer had tweeted, and Yolanda, I don't know if Yolanda's on today, but Yolanda had posted about this. She had posted if EBT cards could be used to buy healthy foods, and Twitter tore her a new one. So before that, she was talking about how expensive it is to buy healthy foods and how in poor areas, they don't really have good healthy food. So that kind of goes back to that. So if you're in a poverty-stricken area, and let's say you do want to eat healthy, where do you go to get the foods that you need?
You can buy healthy food with the EBT card.
No, we know that. But what I'm saying is that there's a difference between Trader Joe's, Mom's Organic Market, and Walmart. And if I'm in a poverty-stricken area and all I have is Walmart, I don't have access to Trader Joe's. I don't have access to Mom's Organic Market. Those are in the middle class areas, the richer areas. So Elena says it's harder to buy healthy food in a food desert. What does that mean? What do you mean by a food desert, Elena?
It's dry.
Oh, okay.
It's dry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to get water in the desert.
Right, but what I'm saying is that in these poverty-stricken areas, they're kind of set up for failure.
There's a guy in South Central LA. His name is Ron Finley. They called him a guerrilla gardener in South Central LA. Black dude. His TED Talk was on TED Talk, and his motto was "Let's grow some shit." So he actually planted gardens in South Central LA.
Wow.
I think we got a comment from Elena.
Yeah, okay. A food desert is an area that has limited access to affordable and nutritious food, in contrast with an area with higher access to supermarkets or vegetable shops with fresh foods, which is called a food oasis. Exactly. They setting people up. So, and guaranteed, and I don't know, in those food oases, do they accept EBT cards? Are EBT cards accepted everywhere? Like if I went, let's just say I'm in Beverly Hills, can I use my EBT card there? Oh.
Chef Todd.
Hey, Chef.
Welcome, Black.
Mm-hmm. So, those are the type of things that I'm saying. You know what? Les does this every single show. He pops out. I'll just hold it down. Okay, so Elena says you can use it, but you'd have to get there first. Exactly. And how am I going to get there if I don't have a car, if all I have is public transportation? So, welcome, Black.
Sorry about that. I keep hitting the wrong button.
So Elena says, yes, you can use it, but you have to get there first. And I was saying, well, what if all I have is public transportation and it doesn't go to these areas where I can get the healthy, and then I have to drag all that stuff back. It's just, it's not set up for blacks to be successful, for blacks to be healthy. All you gotta do is drive to the neighborhoods. You know, so I mean, this is my point to combat what you were saying about, you know,
Healthcare versus poor eating.
Exactly. When if all you have to buy is poor eating, then what? How do you combat that if you don't live in South Central LA where you got, you know, where you have these gardens and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, there's a big difference between the suburbs and the city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about before land grabbing. I meant gentrification. You know, now they're actually putting gardens in places off of Rhode Island Avenue, you know, Southeast Washington, D.C. And I'm only speaking of areas that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what's going on in Baltimore. South Central LA, you know, this guy's been doing this for a long time now. So, now that he's been on TED Talk for a while, I'm pretty sure they're not going to run up against him and tell him, you know, they once before they told him to, you know, take it down, but tear it up. But now he's kind of famous, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to.
But why? Why tear it down? All you're trying to do is build communities up, give communities something else to eat. Why tear it down? Who is he hurting?
He's hurting what is it? One of the things that he talked about, I think, was DaVita, the new dialysis chain. Mm-hmm. You have so many of those that are popping up, like mom and pop stops. So when you start getting people to eat right and do the right thing, you're challenging the healthcare system.
Or is it that is black? Because white folks do it all the time. Ain't nobody challenging them.
The white folks ain't doing it in the inner city.
Doesn't matter. Healthy eating is healthy eating.
Well, it depends on, in my opinion, it depends on who's getting healthy.
That's my point. So you want the blacks to be unhealthy and die, and the whites can stay fit? It doesn't bother them. DaVita ain't knocking down their door, ain't telling them to stop shopping at Trader Joe's and organic markets and places like that.
It's interesting. I wonder if there is a DaVita in the same area as a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. Because I know in DC, in Southeast DC, there's a DaVita somewhere near Giant Food Store.
Is that DAVITA thing? Okay. All right. So, Todd says, "Yep, Bing," and then Diana says, "In Baltimore, there are a lot of fresh food giveaways in low-income neighborhoods, small farmers markets, and people who can afford it are subscribing to CSAs." Thank you for that. And that needs to be in every neighborhood in America where people can't get out to get fresh foods. It makes no sense that these stores won't invest in these neighborhoods. It's like saying that blacks don't want to be healthy, that blacks don't want to eat healthy. That's not necessarily true. So
I was going to say something. I don't want to
go ahead and say it.
I don't want to come across as being a devil's advocate, but I think that we have been conditioned to hang out with convenience more than anything.
I mean, look at airports. Look at, and they charge you for convenience too. They charge you for being comfortable.
How many convenience stores are there in the suburbs, the rural areas?
You mean like where the gas stations are?
Not necessarily. I'm not talking about like Popeyes and McDonald's. I'm talking about like your hip hop chickens, your Eddie Leonard's, your Yums.
They got, well, I know they got Eddie Leonard's in Waldorf. There's a hip hop chicken 2 minutes from my house. So, I mean, I wasn't a fan of hip hop chicken. My daughter loved it. She loved whatever that stuff was they put on top of it. Give me Popeyes. But me, I don't really eat fried foods like that. I have to have a taste for it. And
But we've been conditioned. It's quick, it's fast. I mean, if you don't want to cook $7 and go out and get, 6 chicken wings and some fried rice.
You can get that from the carryout.
That's what I'm talking about.
But see, I guess I'm different. I come from a line of chefs. And I know Todd can hop in on this. My grandmother cooked when I was growing up, and my mother cooked when I was growing up, and I cooked when my daughter was growing up, and I still cook. It's easier for me to fix a meal than to buy it. For me, it's a money thing.
But it's also a mindset thing as well. Because if you look at it, what's going into the food? What are the steroids? What are you actually eating? How big is that chicken wing going to get? If you're getting full off of one chicken wing, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. But like yesterday, I grilled some chicken because I wanted tacos. Now, there is a Mexican
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Right. But there is a authentic Mexican restaurant like 10 minutes from my house.
Right.
And I sat there and I looked at the menu and I was like, I want this. And then I was like, Nikki, wait a minute. Why don't you just make it? Okay.
See, that's mindset.
I make my own pico de gallo. Only thing I buy is the sour cream and the cheese. Everything else, I buy my tomatoes, I buy my cilantro, I buy my jalapeno, all of that stuff.
Make your own guacamole?
No, I ain't make my own. My girlfriend makes the guacamole. I ain't done that yet. But I mean, if I wanted to, I could. I would just buy the avocados for that.
Right.
We're
talking mindset. Right? Here's the thing. It's 2020. How many Black people in this generation are familiar with gardens? Growing gardens, growing your own food. Think about it. When was the last time you've actually been to a farmer's market?
Oh, you want me to answer that? Because I kind of go like every weekend, but okay. I told you I'm different, man.
What about those kids outside of the inner city who never get out?
Right.
And see those things that you can go buy fresh produce. And the taste and the quality of it is better. Yeah,
and the meats too. I mean, going to the Amish market and getting their meats versus going to the grocery store. There's a store in Annapolis called the Fresh Market. Man, listen. Whew, I come up out of there. I'd easily spent $200-300.
Gotcha.
But everything is fresh. It's organic. The meats, they're not sitting there for days in. They'll actually cut your meat and wrap it in the butcher's paper and give it to you.
So they're specializing. You can afford to specialize nowadays.
Oh, you're right. But that's my point. That's what I was saying earlier. And I swear it feels like they make it expensive on purpose.
Well, I remember when my mother's side of the family's from the country. And I remember when, let's read this comment right quick.
Go ahead, read it.
Food, even that which appears healthy at times, may be the most covert form of biological warfare in the U.S. When you really start looking at what's in our food, it's crazy.
Thank you, Elena, for freaking me out. Yeah. I mean, I knew that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whole Foods was basically saying their food was organic. They got busted a couple of years ago because everything in there was not organic. So if you're going out and you're buying food because it says that it's organic, or you got it from Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Woodman's, we could be getting deceived.
Okay, so read that for me.
Chef Todd says, we've been conditioned. This is all conditioning from the fact that we are in a place built by us and never has been for us. From food to education, living, breathing, nothing at the same all the same systematic deprival. He
on it.
I mean, everybody's on it. And here's the thing about it. You know, what do we do? What do we do? As I was saying earlier, you know, my mother's side of the family's from the country. So I remember there are times in which we still go to the apple orchard, right? Mm-hmm. We go pick apples. They used to go pick peaches and tomatoes and corn.
Strawberries.
Right? Mm-hmm. And now when you go to places like Walmart, it's like $4 for some strawberries. And on occasion, you can get it for $2. And like as Chef Todd said, you know, we've been conditioned. The first thing we do is get excited, and I buy 4 to 6 containers of them. Elena says, grow our own for starters. Yeah, but guess what? That takes knowledge.
And it takes land. How many black folks got land? When a lot of people live in high rises or they live in apartments. I mean, I guess some things you can start out as plants, like certain spices. You can grow those in the house. And I know in New York, don't they have like community where you can, do that. That's okay, yeah, you can grow in pots. Okay. You gotta have room for it too.
You gotta want to do it. You know, you gotta want to see the benefit. But as I was saying earlier, the things that we used to go pick and get for free because white folks didn't want it. Collard greens, corn, squash, tomatoes. Now these things are premium.
Man, listen.
Collard greens are.
That was my job when I was younger. My mother would go get the collard greens, and I'd have to clean them and cut them up and stuff. And I will tell you, the dirtier the green, the better it tasted. When she would bring it in, they would have all that dirt and worms and stuff on it. Man, them be some good collard greens. So yeah.
But if you want to eat like that now, I mean, just think about it. You want to deal with nostalgia. So it's like, you know what? I remember when we was growing up, we used to have collard greens. And, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, right? So what are people thinking about? Collard greens and
candy yams, macaroni and cheese,
turkey. And so you go out and you try to duplicate that, and it's so daggone expensive. We used to get it for free, right? Now everybody's eating it. And sometimes they eat it differently.
What you mean?
You ever seen somebody, when we grew up, we ate chicken, right? You could take 2 bites off the chicken and it was a wrap. You had to eat everything on the chicken, the bone, and chew on the gristle. You know what I'm saying? You ever see somebody like take 1 or 2 bites and they're done with it?
Stop talking about me, Wes. My boyfriend teases me all the time, and it's because I got these braces. I really can't get around the chicken bone. So when I eat it, I'll put it on the plate, and he'll pick it up and be like, "Girl, look at all that meat on it." And I'm looking at him like, man, he'll finish it up for me. He was like, this kid's starving. That would love to have that. And
you chewing on the gristle, you know what I'm saying? Some people suck the marrow out of it. You know what I mean?
My grandmama used to do that. I can't get into that, man. That was just nasty.
Guess what? Guess what they came up? Well, it's been out. Bone broth. Everybody was big on that bone broth. Uh-oh. Oh,
okay. My grandparents used to raise cows and hog moths. Never had hypertension until they started buying meat from the grocery store.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what my great uncles would say all the time. We grew up on pig feet.
Yeah, my grandmother got meat and pig feet one time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up on that. What was the difference? How come we didn't have hypertension back in those days? You know, I contributed to exercise because you worked out in the field. I also contributed to the fact that they were grooming these hogs and cows, you know, for themselves and selling it. So they weren't putting all of these ingredients,
preservatives and additives. You knew exactly what was going into the cow, what was going into the pig. You slaughtered it, you sold it. That was it.
Yeah.
You're not adding anything else. You didn't have a lot of time before it went bad because you don't have the additives and preservatives that's in the meat now. Am I right, Elena? Let me know.
I seen them butcher a hog, right? It was like a field day. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they cutting it up, and you know, at the time we was eating this stuff. You know what I mean? We didn't know no better. I wouldn't eat it now. You know, I mean, they making the pork sausage and you know, wrapping it up and crackling. It's like people eat scrapple. How do you eat scrapple nowadays?
Oh God, I've never liked scrapple.
Elena said, "Yep, the animals ate what you ate," and Chef Todd said, "100% right."
Mm-hmm.
You never
Yep. Listen. I had scrapple by accident. I didn't like it, and I didn't like it. I was tricked. So when I was growing up, my best friend's dad at the time, we were at Lexington Market, and I wanted sausage. Shut up.
Hold on, you just told me yourself because everybody don't know Lexington Market. So
listen, I grew up in Baltimore, man. So listen. So we went to Lexington Market. They said they were out of sausage. So he was like, "We got scrapple," and I'd never heard of scrapple. And so I said, "What's that?" And so my best friend's dad was like, "Oh, it tastes just like sausage. You'll be all right." Okay, in my mind, I love sausage. Okay, fine. The lie.
Hold up. Chef Todd says scrapple is awesome.
That's the lie from the pit of hell. It is not. That's some nastiness right there.
Hold on. Let me say this. I don't eat pork, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with him, right? Only because I've had it. I didn't stop eating scrapple because I didn't like the taste of it. I stopped eating scrapple because I stopped eating pork, right? I can understand what he's saying because we used to have scrapple with eggs in the morning.
It was still nasty because I like my sausage with the eggs, and I got me a scrapple and egg sandwich. I didn't eat the sandwich; it was nasty.
You ever had and I'm Elena? I think these are the only two people that comment. Elena and Chef Todd. Have you guys ever had souse meat?
Who?
Hog head cheese.
Nah.
You know what it is?
Nah. I've heard of it.
You talking about hypertension?
Is it salty?
It has vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I'm looking it up right quick so I can tell everybody exactly what it is.
Hey Todd, I know you know what it is. What it got in the chef?
Uh-oh.
Okay, Elena says, okay, that's where I draw the line, but my granddad used to make it. It's an actual head though, right?
No, listen, hog head cheese.
Hate all that. What is hog head cheese?
Look it up for you right quick.
Oh, so for those of you who were with us last week, we were talking about Trick Daddy and
who?
Trick Daddy, Trick Baby. Sorry,
Iceberg Slim.
Yeah. So we got the dinner scene. So whenever you tell us what hog head is, we'll switch to the. because this is grossing me out.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Ingredients.
Okay.
10 cups of water.
Mm-hmm.
And this yields 60. The prep time is 15 minutes, 45 minutes to cook, right? So ready in 1 hour, right? 10 cups of water, 2.5 pounds of pork, 1 pig feet, so 1 each pig's feet,
Mm-hmm.
2 teaspoons of salt, 3/4 pound onion, 3/4 pound onion, 1 tablespoon parsley flakes, 1 tablespoon celery flakes, 1 cup scallions, spring or green onions, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 3/4 teaspoons of red pepper flakes. I've never seen anybody cook it. It used to be at the store all the time, and my mother's husband was from Mississippi.
Isn't it like jellied?
It's a jelly like, yeah, and he get it and put it on crackers.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, okay, stop. I'm with Elena. That's where I draw the line. I
I
can't.
mean, it can't be no worse than eating Spam and potted meat.
Listen, that's what my father loves that stuff. Treat, Spam. Ugh.
It's called treat. I thought it was trite. It's treat.
Treat.
Okay.
Treat, Spam. Them little Vienna sausages, that man. Listen, Nikki ain't like none of that.
Let's go back and revisit something, right?
Mm.
Sardine.
Sardine.
I mean, I like smoked oysters in a can. If you don't have anything to eat, right, or the money is low, and you can go get Vienna sausage and scrapple and Spam, is that not contributing to our demise?
Right, Elena, I'm with you. Listen, Nikki will go to bed hungry. I did not eat it. It was now Spam. I would eat. My mama had her way of fixing it up. I would eat Spam, but treat, potted meat, Vienna sausage, It was mushy. It was nasty. I didn't like the way it tasted, and I would just be hungry. I ate mayonnaise sandwiches, so I ate cheese sandwiches, and I was content with that.
I mean,
I still eat mayonnaise sandwiches. I just like the way it tastes.
Listen, get yourself some wheat bread, Duke's mayonnaise, beefsteak tomatoes, salt and pepper.
Oh, I don't like tomatoes. My tomatoes have to be in something. I can't just eat them. I can't eat it regular. It's just nasty to me.
All right. Well, look, last week we talked about iceberg slim, and we were talking about the discussion between the liberal Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And conservatives. And the story came from Robert Beck, Iceberg Slim, Trick Daddy, Trick Baby. And the guy that you're going to see, they're going to focus in on who's eating, like I was earlier. He's actually black.
Yeah, he has on a pinstripe suit.
Yeah. So, and it just goes to show you how, going back to what Elena was saying earlier, in terms of Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same evil coin.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, there was a time in which we were considered to be Republican. We would have been considered, or we would have been Republican had they not changed and switched over. So, I think you want to play that then, and it gives us an idea.
We neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has it. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
That was deep.
Preacher Rainey used to tell us this old Bible story back in Macon.
That was deep.
You may have to do that again, Nikki. We couldn't hear the first part.
Okay. All right, hold up. Let me see what he said. Scrapple is where instead and stop. However, all these foods are nothing but the foods that we were left to salvage. Y'all all know the story, but this hypertension versus blood pressure is all from the food additives and preservatives. Yes. Ken says, sorry I'm late. Work held me up. I'm on a team Thanksgiving potluck. All right. Let me get it back. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, after we listen to this, I want to go back and revisit some of the comments. You know, I mean, and they call it soul food. You know, nowadays it's talking about we need to get some of that good old soul food, SOUL. But in the Boondocks, remember the episode where they had the itis?
Yes.
You know,
and they had in the back where they could sleep.
People was knocked out. You know, but hypertension and high blood pressure and the preservatives are killing everybody.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let me share the screen again. And
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard. Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous. No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society.
That's the black
you give them
guy.
jobs, political jobs. Oh, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up. That makes it even worse. No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has it. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
That's deep. That's deep.
that's very deep. I mean, they're talking about turning blacks against blacks. And then they're saying you can't leave smart ones in the ghetto because then he's going to educate the others and rise up. And I mean, isn't that what they're kind of doing now? I mean, that they've been doing. I mean, look at how, you know, back in slavery, blacks were killed if they found out that they knew how to read and write. They wanted to keep us dumb. They wanted to keep us ignorant.
You know, he said something that, and we talked last week about this word hope, HOPE. I've always said hope is not a viable solution, you know, and that to some people, hope is all they have. If hope is the only thing that you have, you know, I feel sorry for you. I'll be honest with you. Barack Obama ran on hope, right? Did a great job, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Black men and women who get degrees from predominantly white universities, can they afford to stay in the community? Can they afford to stay, you know, in the hood if they're from the hood and have kids and send their kids to private school without being ostracized? And I don't have a problem with Black people who get degrees and decide that they want to move out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have no problem with that. They want a better life for their kids.
But why why is it that when Blacks want to do that, they're considered sellouts? Is that because they've been conditioned to think that way?
You mean the people who are calling them sellouts?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but we do have some legitimate sellouts.
Right. But I'm talking about like how you said, you know, if a person.
Well, no, not everybody's a sellout. Just because you want something better doesn't mean that you're a sellout. Now, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you just can't go back. I'm gonna give you a story. Mentor, good friend of mine. He's from Harlem, and you know he was pretty known in Harlem back in the day. He's much older than me. So years ago, he said, you know, I went back, you know, and he said one of the cats that you know I grew up with said, man, listen, you cool, you know, I know you, but these new cats don't know who you are. You can't come back here no more, you know, especially, you know, based on the way that you're dressed.
Wow.
You know, and that's how it is. But go back to the movie Denzel Washington did. What was it? Frank Lucas.
Mm.
When Frank got out of jail.
American Gangster.
American Gangster. When he got out of jail, he was walking around blown away, right? Them cats didn't know who he was.
Time moves on. I mean, you know, time moves on. Doesn't sit still.
Yeah.
So
that's because we are. Chef Todd said that's because we are our worst enemy. Yeah. Unfortunately, we are, and I don't think it's because of anything that we've done to be our own worst enemy. We've been conditioned that way.
Mindset.
Yeah, but I mean, how do we get like that? You know, how do we get to, you know, someone progresses and we call them a sellout?
Or just being smart. I mean, my daughter got teased when she was in high school. She was on the bus going to school, and my daughter's always been a reader. So she's on the bus reading, and a girl comes up to her and says, "Oh, what class is that for?" And my daughter says, "It's not for a class." And her response was, "But then why are you reading it?" She was like, "Mom, how dumb are these kids?" And I was like, "Baby, don't say that." She was like, "I'm serious." She's like, "I read because it's entertaining for me. I learn when I read. But now, you know, I get teased because I want to read and it's not an assignment." And she had to do an English essay, and she came to me just befuddled. I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "Well, I want to end it a certain way, but I know if I use the words that I want to use, my class isn't going to understand it." And I said, let me tell you something. Don't dumb yourself down for anybody. I said, your audience is your teacher.
Mm-hmm.
If she doesn't understand, she doesn't need to be teaching. If the students don't understand, basically all you're doing is educating them. But don't you ever dumb yourself down for anybody.
Yeah.
So you write the ending that you want to write. And she got an A on it. The teacher was just blown away with her vocabulary, you know, the way she used certain words together and stuff. And I told her, I said, that is your audience, not the students. We have to redefine Black excellence because we often interpret it as white respectability. Ooh, I love when she comments more. Chef Todd says, if you stay, you stupid. If you go, you a sellout. But we bark and bitch and get equal rights, to get treated equally, but dump on the guy who makes it out. It's pathetic. I mean, what's the best way to stop a tank? Standing outside and yelling stop, or getting in the damn thing and pushing the brakes?
I like those back-to-back comments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to Elena's right quick. Then I want to address Chef Todd. We have to redefine Black excellence. You're right. You know, I tell people all the time, articulation is not synonymous with being white, as not being articulate is synonymous with being Black. You know, just because you speak proper English doesn't mean that you're trying to be white. There's a big difference. The challenge that I've had with Black people, and I don't know, we were talking code switching before, but putting on airs and pretending to be white is one thing. Effectively communicating because you know how to communicate is not trying to be white. It's that you have a grasp and you have a command on the English language. You know, so when people, I don't have a problem with folks communicating and articulating what it is that they want to say. I do have a problem when if I've been talking to you all day and I close my eyes and you're talking and I don't recognize that you're the same person that I was talking to, or if a bunch of white people walk in the room and all of a sudden you change everything about you.
Body language, diction, everything.
Yeah, see that's different. Never dumb. Ken says, "Amen." Never dumb yourself down. That's what I'm going to teach my son because that's important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And why would you dumb yourself down? But you know that peer pressure is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we have to teach Black kids.
It's okay to be smart.
Nah, let's not teach them it's okay to be smart. Let's teach them it's dumb to be dumb. You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, because when I'm not even introduced, oh, it's okay to be smart. I mean, no. That's the standard. That's the standard.
Well, that's what I mean.
I'm just playing with words a little bit, but you know, it's like you're not a mean person. You're just non-nice. You know, but no, my thing is, you know, instead of saying, you know, it's okay to be smart, say, no, it's not okay to be stupid. It's not okay. In today's day and age, and the Piscean age or Aquarius, one of them, there's so much information out here. You can get a degree just by listening to a podcast on your way to work in traffic. It's too much information out here, and being stupid is not cool.
It's not.
You know? Redefine Black excellence. Yes, we do.
So you want to go back to Todd?
Yeah. If you stay, you stupid. Yeah. I mean, why would you stay? You know, if you go, you're a sellout. But you know, but that's their interpretation. You know. But okay. But who defines the standard or what smart is? Now, I'm a stickler for grammar, but improper grammar is not an indicator that intelligence is lacking. You can be smart according to white systems and still be dumb. There are multiple forms of intelligence.
You're right, because I think common sense kind of goes in that intelligence category. I knew when I was working, there were people with master's degrees and PhDs who could not change the toner in a copier. And I'm thinking to myself, they got pretty pictures.
Right.
And it's like, it's not hard to do. And I'm just like, unless they just, in their minds, they just couldn't be bothered with stuff like that. And my thing, I remember thinking, you paid for that education and you can't do something as simple as change toner in a copy machine?
Okay.
Common sense goes a long way.
I bought a safe today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to YouTube to find out how to.
And Todd says, And that's why you got to learn how to play the game, but don't just play it, be better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Can we go back to Chef Todd? Like, I'm looking at his profile, right? Chef Todd, I just taught my daughter how to play chess, man. We've been having a ball.
Oh, then you need to watch Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
We on it like the Black Hornet.
Okay, that was a great series.
So when you see his profile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mind you, he got the cigar and the spirits in his hand.
Cigar, you know what I'm saying? You know,
and the suit with the tie.
you know, and he got that demeanor, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that there have been times in which folks may have looked at him as a sellout, maybe not black, you know, because you get all of that sometimes once you put a suit and tie on. And that goes back to, you know, that goes back to something else I'm going to talk about. Folks don't dress anymore, you know? You don't put clothes on anymore.
I've been there, done that. I'm all about being comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Hold up. No. Let's do Ken first. Then we're going to go to Chef Todd.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, common sense isn't very common. At my job, I have people with degrees to work in solutions that have trouble using things like GoToMeetings and Microsoft. No, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, like I said, who determines who's intelligent, who's smart? Some people get it, some people don't, right? Can we go to Chef Todd? I like that line. He said, I built that chess set myself.
Did you? Boy, you got all kinds of talent. So you, wait a minute. Did you carve the pieces, or are you saying you built the actual chess board?
And are you taking any orders?
Right. We're going to have to go to Texas as soon as it's safe to travel again. But it's just, I know I dealt with this a lot with my daughter because she's just naturally gifted. Wow. Carved the pieces and made the board. Yeah, we're going to have to talk, Chef. We're going to have to talk, Todd. She's very artistic. She's left-handed, so she thinks with the right side of her brain. And she's a very abstract thinker. Okay. And it took me a while to understand how she thinks. So, you know, there's, you know, you're driving to a destination and there's more than one way to get to, hey, cuz, there's more than one way. There's more than one way to get to the same destination. And that's what I had to explain to her, because she kept feeling like she was an outcast, you know, with the kids, because she thought differently and stuff. And I had to teach her that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. You know, your uniqueness is a great quality. You know, it's part of what makes you beautiful from the inside out. I taught her about beauty being an inward thing, not an outward thing. And I was like, when you're beautiful on the inside, it radiates to the outside. So, you know, she had a hard time, you know, with that. But as she got older, she started to come into her own and realize that her uniqueness, she wore it like a badge of honor, you know. And, you know, that's one thing that we have to teach our kids, is that if they're different, if you know that your child is gifted or they have, you know, special talents, you have to nurture that. You have to invest in that and let them know that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique, you know, because you could be, you know, investing in the next president, that, you know, the person that could cure cancer. You just never know, you know, what your children can grow up, you know, to be.
I think, you know, as this show progresses, and we get into some really deep conversations about wanting more for our kids, how we raise our kids. And I'll say this, because, you know, Elena and I, we talk a lot, right? And one thing that I've always said with her is that when it comes down to her temperature is warm. which means, you know, you're not going to get, I'll put it to you like this. If you don't want to know the truth, don't bring up a conversation. Now, it's not going to be a hard conversation where it's screaming and yelling, but it's going to be converted over to you in such a way that makes you think. It's like, dang, you know, I thought I was doing the right thing, but maybe I'm not. Right?
Is she kind of like matter of fact, like you just put the truth right there, just sit it on the table?
Well, I mean, it will go back to one of her comments. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, having the ability to call, not saying she doesn't, but having the ability to call you stupid without you even really knowing it. You know,
Right.
look, we have to redefine Black excellence because we often interpret it as white respectability. You know, so I'm just listening to, you know, what we're talking about and wanting more for our kids. Right? And when people are calling in, we're talking about, you know, the healthcare system or the things that we used to eat, or I think it was Chef Todd that said we are our worst enemy. How do we get there? You know what I'm saying? How do we raise our kids in this Black society? You know what I'm saying? Or this white society as Black people? You know, how do we impress upon them the importance of getting an education, yet maintaining your Blackness?
Right.
You know,
not losing your identity.
not losing your identity whatsoever. You know, how do we do that? How do we let someone know, a Black kid knows that if you go to a white school, it doesn't mean that you're trying to be white.
Right.
You know?
That's like that, what was that movie? The Hate You Give.
The Hate You Give.
Where the girl went to, she felt like she was living in two different worlds. You know, she living in a Black area, in a, you know, predominantly Black area, but she's going to a white school to get a good education.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a really, really good movie. And how you balance the two, because, you know, are your kids one way when they get to school, and are they another way when they come home? We don't know because we're not with them when they're in school.
Right.
You know, do they feel like they have to, quote unquote, become white while they're in school in order to be accepted? You know, going to school is hard. It's not an easy thing. And kids now, I thought kids back in the day were cruel, but kids nowadays, you got social media, you got the internet.
Yeah.
Kids, I mean, schools have, you know, their little websites and stuff, and it's just, you put something online about a student and you got kids killing themselves in middle school.
Yeah.
So it's way different from, you know, when you and I were in school. You know, we had bullies. Now you got physical bullies, you got cyber bullies, and it's just, it's a lot to handle.
Let me ask you a question to everybody that's listening, especially to Chef Todd. I think I kind of know Elena's perspective, as well as Ken. You know, I'll put these out to you guys. Your child has a chance to go to a predominantly Black school, a HBCU, or an all-white school, right? Based on where we are now, do you see it challenging? Do you see it wrong if you said, I would prefer that my child go to a white school versus an HBCU? And that's for anyone that want to answer.
Answer that, Kyle, because your kid in college. Well, I will say this. My daughter, we were living in PG County, and she was in a STEM, she was at a STEM school in the STEM program. And her first, Kyle says, no. I took it upon myself. She did good her first 2 years in the STEM program. Then she got to be, in my opinion, He says it matters how they grew up. In my opinion, she was too black. Okay, and by that I mean she wasn't using right vernacular, and I knew that she knew better. She
Now,
was.
you said too black or too?
I should say ghetto. Ghetto. Ghetto's the word. She was acting ghetto. Her actions were ghetto. Her tone was ghetto, and it was just like I did not spend all that money in private school for you to act like you ain't got no sense. So I ended up moving to a predominantly white county and putting her in a predominantly white.
On purpose?
Yes, in a predominantly white school. You want to talk about somebody mad? That little thing. Whoo! That first year of adjustment was big time, and she couldn't understand it. I said, let me explain something to you. When you graduate from high school, there are other cultures and other races besides black people, and you have to know how to navigate through all of that. And we moved. She went to the school, did great. Honest, and her grades went right back up, back on the honor roll, no problem. And she got to see other things that she wouldn't have seen at the other school. At the end of her junior year, she actually thanked me for moving out. She was like, "Mom, you were right." She said, I had no idea that all of this existed. And I think that it's important that we expose our children to culture. You know, we got to get them out of wherever we live, take them to different states, different countries, let them see that there's more to life than just your immediate surroundings. And that's what, in my way, with the funds that I had, that's what I was trying to do for my daughter. Elena has a comment. My question is, yeah, go ahead.
My question is why? We need multiple types of education. HBCUs are known for nurturing and lifting students. Then there are white institutions and elite white institutions, which are different. It depends. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, but you know, I've seen instances where you've had black universities give black kids more hell than white universities. And does that mean they cared more? I don't think so. I just think it was too much red tape that they were actually, not too much too much BS that they were taking these kids through. And a lot of times is, justifying because we care about you, we're going to be harder on you. But I don't think that was the case at all. No, it's not wrong. I don't think predominantly black or white schools is the issue. My focus would be on how good of an education they will receive and how prepared for the real world it makes them. And this has nothing to do with how black or white a school is, just my opinion. Elena, you asking me to say more?
Probably. Tell him, Elena.
I'm waiting. I'm hoping she's gonna say no.
No, she's gonna tell you to elaborate. I kind of agree with Todd on that. And two, it really depends on what your child is going to school for. Let's just say that I'm gonna throw two schools out there. You've got Hampton and Michigan State. Okay. So let's say your child wants to be an engineer, and Michigan State has a great engineering program and Hampton doesn't. Wouldn't you want your child to go to the school where they're going to get the most for what it is that they're looking to be in life? I mean, I understand your question, but there's more to that question.
Look, listen, I'll be honest with you. If right now where I stand, if I had an opportunity All right, I will. If my child had an opportunity to go to Howard versus Georgetown, she's going to Georgetown. Now, that's just based on how I feel right now. Howard may have a better program than Georgetown. You know, it doesn't mean that we're not going to look at Howard University, but right now, what I'm looking at for her would be Georgetown. Right? I went to a black school.
My cousin is in the nursing program at Georgetown.
Okay.
She got accepted there. We were really happy for her.
Yeah.
Apparently, it takes a lot to get into that nursing program. I didn't know.
And it doesn't make her a sellout. It doesn't mean that.
They got a great nursing program.
Yeah. Because when I was at Virginia State, even before me, they had the sweatshirts that says the blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge, or the better the knowledge. Then someone came out and said, a B plus in Virginia State is a D at the University of Maryland. That's what they said. I don't know how true it was.
But I mean, I really think it really depends on what your.
But are black people? And I know we're not. I know we're not obligated to go to black schools because we're black, right? Mm-hmm. But if more black people were going to black universities, would that help the black culture, or would that help the economics for black people?
That almost sounds like segregation, but that's just my 2 cents.
So we could be looked upon as being bougie.
How so? Because we're trying to stay in our own community and our own.
No, because we're saying that there's no. I mean, if you want to go to Georgetown versus a Hampton or a Howard, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, Chef Ty said no, it wouldn't. I just really think it depends on what your child, what the student is, what they want to be and what they're majoring in.
So you said you took your daughter out of the county because she was picking up some ways that wasn't becoming.
Correct.
And you moved her into a predominantly white school.
In a predominantly white county. Mm-hmm. Where I still live now.
And so, okay, so was it the institution that you were getting away from, or was it the environment that she was in?
It was the environment that she was. There was nothing wrong with the program. It was the environment. I mean, and she was in drama. She was doing all of these things, and she was still excelling in her work, and that was great. But then it was like that ghetto culture grabbed a hold of her, and I was like, no, you don't.
But you moved her away from black people, right? Mm-hmm. And put her around multi-ethnicities,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you not walking a thin line and basically saying that these people are better for you than your own?
No, like I said, I wanted to expose her because I didn't want her to get into college and realize, oh my gosh, we've got Asians, we've got Hispanics, we've got whites, and not know how to deal with that. The 2 years that she spent at that school, she started understanding different cultures, different foods, and this, that, and the other. She was exposed to different things. Now, if I had the money, I would have taken her, to different countries to show her, but I didn't have the money for that. So this was just my way of trying to broaden her horizons and let her know there's more than just Blacks in the world, because that's all that she knew. So we got some comments. So Elena says there are some who said segregation was the end of good education for people of color. Yep, we're doing better. We were doing better during segregation. By the way, it is said that an A at Harvard is a D at MIT. Things are never equal. And then we supported our own then.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Let's go back. Let's go back to when our relatives used to eat pig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't get hypertension, right? Didn't have the type of cancer that they have now as it relates to food because of the preservatives, right? So when we were getting educated amongst ourselves, I think the quality of education was a tad bit different. It may not have been as advanced, but it was more nurturing.
But if we would have stayed that way, you said it might not have been as advanced. Had we stayed that way, where would we be? Will we be able to compete because we weren't advanced?
No. What I'm saying is that, you know, the playing field has never been leveled. Had they leveled the playing field and gave us the same,
Oh, it would have been a game changer.
Ball game. See, that's what I'm saying. You know, we didn't have the same resources, but we did have continuity.
Okay.
And you had the family structure, and you had the family unit. Even if you look at Little House on the Prairie, right? You know, I think they went to school in the church or the schoolhouse. How close knit everything was. We were doing the same thing. Elena says, I think it was far more advanced. Look at notable African Americans of that time. Most of them graduated early and performed well. See, this is why, you know, man, it's not like having these conversations with me. Okay?
Why? She's educating me, and I'm pretty sure she's educating, you know.
I think I'm the smartest one in the group. You know what I'm saying?
Standard curriculum now is so dumbed down. Children are capable of so much more. And let me tell you something. When she got to the STEM school, they were amazed at her transcripts, at what she already knew, because she was in private school.
Yeah.
She was in private school up until then. And they were like, you sure you want her to go here? And I'm just like, yeah. You know, I mean, when I was in school, I went to an all-girl Catholic high school for the first 2 years of high school, right? Then we moved to PG County. When I moved there, I had met all of my credits that I needed to graduate except for English. I needed one more year of math. They looked at me like I had 3 heads. They were like, where did you come from? And it was just like, you know, they almost make you feel like being smart was, you know, that you got this education, like you were wrong for being ahead of everybody else in the school. And instead of applauding that, instead of being proud of that, they make you feel like something's wrong with you. And so my last 2 years, I mean, I took electives for like the last 2 years because they didn't have anything, you know.
Yeah.
I took, you know, I was able to take, you know, college courses at the community college across the way, because it was just like, they don't need me sitting in class, you know what I'm saying, and not really learning anything.
Right.
So, you know, I was grateful, you know, to have that opportunity, but, you know, it's just, you know, it just, unfortunately, when you are smart, even as adults, they want to shame you for it. And then that's why, you know, that's why I told her, don't dumb yourself down for anybody. I don't care who it is. Do not dumb yourself down. If they're not on your level, tough. Challenge them to get on your level.
Fuck them. Excuse me. Fuck them.
So, you know, it's rough. Elena, what you got to say about that one? I want to hear what she has to say about that.
Man, I wish people could call in.
Why?
Because you gotta wait for them to type.
You're so impatient. Well, you know what? It's a delay.
You're right, because like when Chef Todd at 5:22 said, "Nope, I wouldn't." I'm like, I don't even know what I said.
So, you know, it's
Can I read Ken's message?
sure. Let me put up.
Okay. He said, when I transferred from Bishop McNamara School to Balut, God, oh man, hold up. Move the comment. I got to do this once a show. When I transferred from Bishop McNamara High School to Balut,
He's so stupid. Don't pay him no mind, y'all. He's a knucklehead.
I ain't coming back. I can't.
He said, I ain't coming back. Leave Ken alone.
I'm not mad at Ken. I'm just saying you went from. Let me get back up here. I didn't even finish. Let me finish. He said, when I transferred from Bishop McNamara School to Ballou Senior High School, I was half credit short of graduation coming in the door. Had to take a night gym class to get half the credit, which kept me from joining the school wrestling team. Golly. I mean, man, let me tell you something. I taught at Wilson, right? I taught special ed at Wilson. We had to go over to Ballou one day for like we was meeting some folks at special ed. Man, when I walked in the door in the hallway, I'm like, man, I don't know how people do it over here. Well, now the difference, for those who don't know, the difference between Woodrow Wilson Senior High School, which is uptown in DC, when you got kids speaking multiple languages in the hallway, right? Going over to Ballou in Southeast, and this ain't no disrespect to Ballou. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting down, anybody because they went there, but it's like straight suicide over there to me. You know what I'm saying? And then you going from Bishop McNamara.
Todd said, me too. This damn table is for the birds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't your choice. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think anybody makes choices like that. Not unless you're trying to be strategic. Now, what I mean by that, when I taught at Wilson, there was this white student who was extremely smart. His father lost his job, right? He said, "Yeah, my dad lost his job, so now we got to move to Georgetown." Yeah.
Where were they living?
I think they could have been living further up, upper northwest.
Like Military Road up that way?
Past that, yeah.
Okay.
Across Chevy Chase.
So that was like a downgrade moving to Georgetown? I'm sorry. Wow. Okay.
The father did, not only him, there was another student, right? Both white. They decided we need to get our kids into college, right? Now they were making money. So what they decided to do was put them in special ed, right? For maybe 2 years. You know what their classification was?
What?
They needed organizational skills. So they had an IEP, and they only spent one class. They only had one class, which was a resource classroom. This way, they can go to school, go to college with an IEP and get special accommodations.
That's actually pretty smart.
That's really smart. So that's the only way I can see people transferring from a Bishop McNamara to a Ballou, because then, you didn't already, like by the time you get there, you done met the requirements. Okay, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. White people succeed. One, sometimes just because they're white, laughing out loud. Success does require that you be smart. You've got to be savvy. Success is not a measure of intelligence. That's why I say we need to redefine Black excellence. Our children need to be intelligent, capital A-N-D, emotionally intelligent. They need to be taught how to be smart as a serpent and harmless as a dove. All education doesn't happen in school. Got you. No, you're absolutely right.
So, Elena, how would you, if you had to redefine Black excellence, how would you define that?
Good question. Took the heat off of me.
Then he gets offline. Get your boy, Elena. No, seriously. You said it before that we need to redefine Black excellence. How would you redefine Black excellence? This I want to hear this. He's back now.
I keep doing it.
That's because you're doing too much. Tell people that you are occupied between the hours.
I wasn't doing it. I hit the wrong button. See, we're on Chrome. I'm used to dealing with Safari.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hit his response.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that.
He's a knucklehead, kid. Yeah, I want to know how you would define that.
Right.
Well,
should I call her and repeat the question?
No, let her type. Be quiet. You talk. I'll be right back. I'm gonna mute this for a second.
Say what?
I said you talk. I'll be right back. I need to put the garage up. Hold up.
I don't want to be left alone. I don't know these people.
Stop it.
Hey, Nikki and Allison.
Hey, Allison. You know we missed you, girl. Hold on, Allison. I'll be right back.
Come on, Elena. Hey, before you go, what was the question that you asked? Oh, she just. All right, Elena. We waiting on that response. How do you redefine Black excellence? Hey, Ken, how was your experience at Baloo? I would love to hear about it. From night, that's going from night beyond night.
It was getting smoky in here. Let some of that smoke out.
Oh,
Okay.
Bright day to beyond night.
What are you talking about?
Talking about Ken going from leaving Bishop McNamara going to Baloo.
He said it wasn't his choice, fam.
I'm not knocking the cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, that's like going from bright light to beyond darkness.
That's kind of how I felt going from where I went to, Okay, so she says, I'm not a mother, but what I would want for my children is that they be developed to their greatest potential, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then Ken says, wasn't bad, thought it was going to be bad, but it was fairly decent. And that's kind of how I felt after I went to after my transfer and stuff.
But Ken, are you speaking to the social or the academic? Or both? Go ahead, Nikki. I'm sorry, not to cut you out.
I have a thing for Elena. I know. Okay, so you're not a mom, but if you were, has Elena ever worked with children? Like, has she ever done like volunteer, mentorship, any of that?
Yes, she has. Yes.
Okay, so I know that you're not a mom, but the kids that you let's just for argument's sake say mentored, if they asked you how would you define Black excellence for them, what you said about being developed to their greatest potential, is that what you would tell them? And also, Elena, did you have a chance to check out Black Boys? Because I think that Elena really would. I think she would really like that if she has checked it out. Have you checked that out? For everybody watching, if you have Peacock, check out Black Boys. It's a documentary, and it is absolutely phenomenal, especially if you have black sons. You need to watch it. So Ken says,
Okay.
mostly both. I don't fit the mold. I didn't fit the mold at McNamara, but Baloo was a better fit. It wasn't very social, but education was on point for me.
All right.
See, not everybody fits, you know.
Yeah, I see. Hey, hold up.
Hmm.
Allison spoke to me.
She did. I said, she said,
Yeah, I'm not sorry. I just wanted to acknowledge that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, all right.
So she says, I haven't, but I promise to work on my personal definition of black excellence and success. Okay.
Because I think, remember they used to say we gotta be smarter than them, we gotta dress better than them, you know, we gotta be better than them, we gotta do better than them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But remember, what was it, Robert Greene, that says in the 48 Laws of Power, never outshine the master.
My mother worked for IRS for over 30 years, and her boss, of course, was I think he was white. He told her that you have to be better than the best in order for you to succeed here. And she took that as a challenge, and she retired at a very high grade when she did. So, you know, she took that as almost offensive, you know. But I said, but Mom, you got to look at it. I mean, he was telling the truth, though. And when you came in, she came in straight from college. That was her only job.
Yeah, but why do we have to be better than the best? They don't have to be better than the best.
Because he knew the environment that she was walking into. And I said, I don't think that he meant it in a negative way. I think he was just letting you know what you were in for.
Okay.
So if you hit these roadblocks, here's why.
Okay.
You know, and I you know, and of course it's easier on the outside looking in, but I mean, I probably would have had the same reaction she had. You know, here's a white man telling me this.
I mean, well, you know, we hear that all the time. You know, we got to dress better, we got to be smarter, and it's like, are we doing this for them?
Listen, I tell them, like I tell everybody else, the one person that determines if I get promoted, well, two people, is me and God. That's it. That's how I look at it. I don't put my faith in man. That's just what I believe. So everything that I've achieved, everything that I've accomplished, I give credit to God. That's just my belief.
All right.
Not to say that I didn't work hard. I did. But you know, when I get a promotion and I'm technically not qualified for it, I know that was God. I know that was God. When, you know, they making their rounds firing people and I make the cut.
That happened to you?
That happened to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got a job that I wasn't qualified for on paper.
Hey, are they hiring?
That was years ago. That was years ago. I got a job that I wasn't qualified for, but let me tell you, when I started, they let me know that I wasn't qualified for it.
Right.
But you know I'm a Virgo, and we love a challenge, honey.
Yeah, but
So,
I got that. But I just don't think that, you know, black folks need to all the time think that, you know, we got to be white. We got to be, you know, better than white people in order to be accepted.
oh, I agree. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right at all. But in that job, I ended up getting 3 promotions. I ended up writing SOPs for them, you know. So it was like, here comes this girl who they said wasn't qualified, who's knocking it out the box. I mean, I ended up getting into the compliance department, knew nothing about compliance whatsoever, but ended up in licensing and this, that, and the other, and knocked that out the box. So I've always been one, don't tell me that I can't do something, because I'm going to prove you wrong each and every time. I look at it as a challenge. And if that means I got to stay up studying books or whatever all night, then that's what I'm going to do. Because you're not going to tell me that I'm not intelligent. You're not going to tell me that I'm not smart, that I can't do something. Unless it's like, an operation or doing some doctor stuff, something like that. Something in a specialized field where you need special education for. Other than that, don't tell me that I can't do it.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to instill in my daughter is don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And I know that's cliche, but I feel like that's true. All right, so I'm smoking an unbanded cigar, and I've got today I'm drinking, what am I drinking? Apple Moscato. And I'm almost finished the bottle. I just opened it when we started.
Apple Moscato?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty tasty. Almost tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
With what type of it's unbanded, okay.
Yeah, it's unbanded. We got to get Cirillo back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. So Allison, how are you, dear?
I don't think Allison is on.
I think she is. I think she's just quiet. Cuzzo, you still on? You quiet today. I'm not used to that. I don't think Yolanda's on today either.
Maybe we need to talk about something controversial. Like maybe next week, one of the things we can talk about is
See, told you she's still there.
what she say?
She said, "I'm here.
Sure.
I want to talk about relationships."
What about
That's another show. I want to talk about Black women in relationships. I want to talk about Black men in relationships.
Oh,
Okay.
let's put me on to Black AF, and there's an episode where Tyler Perry basically said he doesn't create for white people, so he doesn't need their approval or applause. I think that the success we reach for is a white man's definition. I am not working to prove anybody wrong about me. If you're not aware of my intelligence, kick rocks.
Pretty much, Elena, exactly. And Dave Chappelle kind of said the same thing.
Yeah, kick rocks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kick rocks.
Definitely. Elena, did she say yes to that? Oh, so you did watch Black
No,
Boys?
She said no. She said I haven't, but I promise to work on my own personal
No,
definition.
I said Black Boys.
And she said no.
Oh, my bad. He got all close and whatnot. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with black. I mean, what black male, black female relationships?
Mm-hmm. Shut up, Todd. He talking about something sustained.
Check.
Yeah. I wanna dive into that. That's definitely gonna be, a whole show. That's my homework. Okay, darling. But I do want to talk about on the show. I'm going to talk about relationships, and how. It's going to be a controversial one, and I know some people aren't going to agree with me, but I'm coming to y'all with my opinion, with my personal experience with what I've gone through in some relationships, but mainly I feel like Black women don't realize their worth, and I think that Black men sometimes don't realize their worth either. And you keep getting into these relationships and following the same patterns over and over and over again, and feeling like if you're a female, you're feeling like all men are dogs, or all men are this, or all men are that, when a lot of times it's necessarily not the man. So he says relationship is a rough topic. Bring your popcorn.
Bring your popcorn. Hey, maybe we can talk about this often. Can we get a few people on? Because I would love to have some folks who would be interested in, interested in this dialogue.
Oh yeah, I mean, whoever's out there, Ken says, I'm here for this topic given what I'm going through. So I am a big advocate of therapy, which I know that is taboo in the Black community, which I think is stupid. I have been in therapy. I've learned a lot in therapy. Therapy saved me as a person. I won't even say relationships, but it saved me as a person. So Elena says, Black relationships and Black love is a whole Black spasms. When I went through the African American Museum and saw an exhibit that talked about how we can't legally get married, it hit me like a ton of bricks. What an assault racism has had on Black love, here for it.
Okay, I like that.
And Chef Todd says they know their worth. It's just some of the people we involve ourselves with ain't worth a damn. Well, isn't that the ones that ain't worth a damn? Aren't those the ones that don't know their worth? And I feel like sometimes when you're broken, all you attract is broken people.
Not necessarily true.
Okay, I said sometimes.
Not necessarily true.
I said sometimes.
A lot of times, broken people do opposites attract sometimes. And sometimes, broken people do attract, I won't say completely whole people, but not as broken as them. And eventually they bring down that person. There's, I don't know, scripture in the Bible says that let the strong bear the infirmities of the weak, and let the weak say that I am strong. A lot of times that's not the case, that the strong becomes weak. You know what I'm saying? Chef Todd said not true. He must be, I don't know, are you talking, he must be referring to.
You talk about me, Todd, what I said about broken people?
Yeah. So I would love for us, if we can have a panel discussion. I don't think therapy is as taboo as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
I think more Black folks are beginning to accept therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Should Black couples seek out Black therapists? Number one. Number two, for the male, who's a better therapist? Male or female? And for the female, who's a better therapist? Male or female?
I think it would depend on what you're going for. For me, I had a white therapist. I think age makes a big difference in therapy too. And the reason I say that is because I had an older white female therapist who wanted to fill me with a bunch of drugs. I was diagnosed as bipolar, and she gave me all these prescriptions. And I will say that I held on to them because I didn't think that I needed them. And she actually got upset with me that I didn't get them filled. I gave them back to her the following week. And then after that, I found another therapist. My next therapist that I found was a female, and she was Black. And she helped me tremendously. But what I will say is that you have to have a rapport and a connection with your therapist.
Is your connection cultural identification?
No, I didn't look at it that way, but you got to remember, I was broken when I went in, so I wasn't thinking male, female. I just wanted help. And she could have been a green Martian for all I cared, as long as she could help me understand what was going on and, up here. That was my main focus. And I explained to her about the prescription and everything. And she too diagnosed me, with being bipolar, but she said, I don't think that yours it's to the point where it's a chemical imbalance. She said, I really think it's how you process things up here. So she gave me exercises and things of that nature to help switch the way that I was thinking about stuff. Because before I met her, I was a pessimist. After going to her, I was an optimist. You know, before her, it was everything is doom. You know, nothing's ever going to go right, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that way anymore. So we've got some comments. So Elena says, I think it depends on what you're working through. Finding a good therapist is like dating. Exactly. I think people should feel empowered to leave a therapist that they are not connecting with and not abandon their therapy altogether. Exactly. That's exactly what I did. Allison says, dealing with relationships, people in general get and live in patterns that they were taught as children, whether it's abuse, cheater, so on and so forth. Ooh, these things are popping in. Boy, I done sparked something now. My current issue is I've been in an interracial relationship for 7 years, and all but one of my relationships was with a Black woman, and my mom wants my next relationship to be with a Black woman, so there's pressure on me. And Chef says, I wrote hell no to the wrong chat. My bad. So,
Hold on, can we go back to Ken's right quick?
mm-hmm.
Your mother wants you to go, she wants you to be with a Black woman.
In his next relationship.
So why is the pressure on you?
Because he's only had one Black relationship. All his other relationships have been interracial. So if this one doesn't work out, his mother wants him to be with a Black woman. So the pressure is on. He's got to, I guess, find a Black woman. If I'm wrong, Ken, jump in.
Elena said, that's tough. Yeah, that is tough.
Mm-hmm. Because my thing is, you can't control who you love. I've never been in an interracial relationship, so I can't speak to this at all. But I don't think that parents should judge their children for who they fall in love with, whether it's a man, a woman, you know, if they're gay, lesbian, whatever. As long as the person is treating your child right, your child is happy. To me, as a parent, that's all that I can ask for. You know, if it, let's just hypothetically say that my daughter, you know, is, you know, in a lesbian relationship. Well, if that woman is treating her, you know, mistreating her or abusing her, I don't want her with her. You know, same thing if she's with a man. I want my child to be happy. And as parents, that should be the main focus, not what I think a lot of times as parents, we try to project onto our kids what we want for them. So Ken says, you're on the mark, Nikki. And Allison says, Ken, you have to date who you want to be, who you want to, wait a minute, you have to date who you want to be, I guess, with. No one should tell anyone who they should love. And then, is it even your mom's decision? And then Ken says, well, my mom feels a Black woman will treat me better than a non-person of color. Have you been mistreated in these relationships? I mean, is the woman beating you? I mean, is she cheating on you? Like, what's going on? Or is it that your mom feels because you're Black, you're supposed to have a Black queen on your arm?
No, Ken is a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real nice guy, and he takes a little bit too much that he shouldn't take.
You know, I will tell you, my mom has stayed out of. I was married for 14 years. My mom, unless I asked for her advice, she pretty much has stayed out of my love life, because her thing is, you got to deal with that, not me. You know, and like I said, the only thing that I want for my daughter is whoever she's with, for them to treat her with respect, to gene her, to grow her, to empower her, to nurture her, and enhance her. You know,
feminine way of saying enhance, empower, grow, and nurture.
Yeah, I told you I got to put in an acronym. That's me. But, you know, that's what I currently have, you know, in my relationship. And it took me, I'm 48 years old. It took me, met him when I was, it took me 46 years to find this man. I mean, it's.
Say it again. How long did it take?
Okay, maybe not 46 years, but when I started dating. So 16, took me 30 years to find this man. Shut up. I can't stand you. Okay, so Ken says one cheated on me. The recent one hasn't been here to help me deal with my diabetes, which has caused her to be excommunicated from my family as I've soured on her as well. Okay, Ken, baby, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. If she's not helping you deal with your health, she needs to kick rocks. Period. That's not what a relationship, that's y'all been together for over 7 years.
If you need us to go jump her, let us know.
You've been with her for over 7 years. And I don't think you got diabetes yesterday. Wait a minute. So let me, before I go on my rant, I think a black mother may be weary of a white woman dating her son because of her life experience with white women. Okay. The real question is if the only issue your mother has with the young lady is that she's white. Well, it doesn't seem like that. I mean, let's go back to what he said. He said that
Cheated on you.
that was one, but the one he's with now hasn't been there to help with his diabetes, which has caused her to be excommunicated from the family, as I've soured on her as well. So why are you around? Why are you staying? Are there kids involved? Is there property involved? I mean, because listen, we have to teach people how to treat us. And if you continue in this, you're telling her that it's okay to mistreat you. You're telling her that it's okay that she not love you enough to help you with, you know, when you get sick or when you need help. My dad has diabetes. My brother has diabetes. So I understand that. That's not the only issue she has with her. Well, the question is, do you have issues with her? I mean, it seems, you know, like you do. And I can't get with people when you say that you love somebody, the love seems to be conditional. The love seems to be only when things are good. When things get rough, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Love is supposed to be unconditional, agape love. You're supposed to love through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a lot of times couples don't do that. You know, so listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Whew. Okay, that's why I want to do a segment.
I have a question, and you know, what is the biggest requirement that you want out of a relationship? And that's for anyone. You know what? You know, for me, I'll go first. The biggest thing for me in a relationship is respect. Or peace, then respect, or respect, then peace. You know, what's the number one thing that you need moving forward? Nikki is preaching. Yes, she is. Hold on, go back to something you said earlier, Nikki. How long did it take you? How long did it take you? You said how many years?
30. Shut up so you can fall out your chair again. But listen, it's like.
But guess what? Guess what? It's like that sometimes.
Right, but you know, every relationship helped shape and mold me into who I am today. I know now what, and a lot of it has to do with age. You know, when you're 20-something, you don't know what the hell you want. You know, you start to understand that when you get into, you know, your 30s. But I had a very broken past, and I was broken for a very long time. And until I got the counseling that I needed to heal this, I wasn't going to be good in any relationship. And I would just, you almost become a doormat. You let people say and do whatever they want because you think that that's all that you're worth. But when I say knowing your worth, I'm talking about up here. I'm talking about knowing what you will and what you won't put up with. I'm talking about setting boundaries. And when people cross them boundaries, being bold enough to say, you know what, this isn't for me, and walking away and being okay with walking away. And when that door is closed, that door is closed. There is no opening up that door. I block my exes. There's no communication with me because you should not be contacting me. That door shut.
Isn't that something that has to be learned, developed over a period of time?
Elena says, Ken, why do you say? That's what I'm. Hello, therapy. Yes, it did. But because I was broken, I didn't understand that. And yes, it is something that has to be learned over time. But because I went through that, guess what? I was able to teach my daughter that she is the queen. And this is why you're a queen. This is what you should not be dealing with in a relationship. This is what you should be dealing with in a relationship. And a lot of times we don't teach our kids that. Because why? Because we're broken. We don't know what to teach them. And before I was able to teach this to her, Ken says, benefit of my son plus working on finding a place to move into when the lease is up in May. You got homework to do, Ken.
Hold up, check him out. Listen. I completely and totally understand him on that. I get him.
Ken, when you say benefit of my son, is she the mother of your son? Like, what is the benefit? Not that we're trying to put your business out there, but when we get into this relationship it's going to get personal. So if people don't want to air their dirty laundry, I totally understand that. I'm in a safe place and I'm okay with sharing what I share. But yes, it has to be taught. Okay, yes, she is the mother. Okay, so that's why I was asking, I think if, when kids and property and this, that, and the other is involved, it's not easy to walk away. I mean, it's easier said than done, but that kind of stuff has to be planned. And hopefully, in any relationship where one person is trying to walk away and their kids involved, I hope that there can be an amicable split. I hope that people can be understanding and not harbor resentment, even though I know that that's, not the case. And I cannot stand when women use kids as pawns in relationships. That is one thing that boils my buttons to no end. It pisses me off. I've seen it done. And woman, if you're not happy, find your happiness. Because what you do is you're not hurting him. You're hurting your child. You are hurting your kid. That man is going to heal. That kid, not so much. That kid's going to need therapy. When you talk about, and this goes for, mothers or fathers, when you talk about, her mom is a bitch or her dad is a dog and this, that hurts that kid. Ask me how I know. So grow up, people. Grow up. Elena says, Ken, your last question. Do you guys communicate well? Wishing you all the best. I mean, it's not an easy subject, to broach, but I think it's one that needs to be had. And From those that are on here today, I feel like they're primed for it. Another one that I want to do is on friendships. I want Yolanda on here for that one because she talked about that on her podcast. We're gonna get into some heavy stuff, y'all. So bring your popcorn, your wine, your cigar, whatever it is that makes you happy. This is Black Spasms, and we're gonna talk about things that exactly. So exactly. You got Bob's Black on Black Spasms in relationships.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to this. This isn't something that happens overnight. My way of thinking took years. It took years. And I will say that my therapist was awesome because she was available to me 24/7. And most therapists don't offer themselves that way. If I was having a bad day, and I'll put this out there, I was very suicidal, and she knew that. And she was like, whenever you need me, you just pick up the phone. And there were times, that I did need her. And Ken said, by the way, this is the first time I've gone public with this. And all this just went down in June after I was released from the hospital. Well, Ken, I'm wishing you the best. If you need an ear, you just DM me.
You need a support system, man. Reach out.
Yeah. Les is on Facebook too. Leslie Browder, sorry. Add him as a friend.
If you want to, you have his information. You can shoot him my number if you want. If you want to,
This is why we do this. I mean, there are people out here that are hurting, and they don't have a support system. They don't have anybody to talk to. This is why we do this. We're not perfect. We're not experts. We're just people that's been through shit. And I'm happy to share my experience with people if I think that it will help them, move forward. Like I said, and Elena talked about it too. Finding a therapist is like dating. The one thing I stress is that you have to have a rapport with your therapist. I went through several therapists until I found the one that I was comfortable with. Read that for me, Les.
Relationships can be a crucible. They bring out the best in us, the worst in us, our insecurities and fears. Sometimes we grow from them, and sometimes we move on.
Actually, Elena, I did both. I grew and I moved on. Appreciate it. It's been a lonely time. At least I get to see my son on the weekends. Otherwise, I'd be torn apart.
Yo.
Get at us, Ken. Get at us.
Yeah. Nah, because you know what happens is people will be amazed at what other people are going through.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean.
Exactly. And what we've gone through and how we've, come across, to the other side. And, when kids are involved, it's never easy. But I will say this. As hard as women try, they cannot teach a boy to become a man. And that's just how I feel about that. If that son's father is in his life and he is a good man, that boy needs to spend as much time with his father as he can. Because no matter how hard you try as a woman, you can't be a man, and you can't teach a boy how to be a man or teach him man things. It's as simple as that. To me, I look at it as I won't ever go to a male gynecologist because he can't tell me about my body because he's not a woman. He doesn't have breasts. He doesn't have a vagina. He doesn't have ovaries and fallopian tubes. That's how I look at it. Just like, you know, a man going to a female doctor. She doesn't have a penis. She don't have testicles. Now, I could be wrong in the way I think, but that's just how I look at it. Les, if you got an opinion, throw it out there.
No, you know, I was just, you know, I'm as I'm reading the comments and just thinking about, you know, what Ken put out there, and you know, you never know. We look at people's profiles, and you know, it's like based on the profile, you know, everybody's cool. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Ken, if you get anything, you get a laugh from that fool at least once a week because he is a nut.
right, but I've been wanting to slide out the chair, you know, on some other stuff. You know, because you know the spasms in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Especially black on black relationships. You know, black on black spasms in relationships. Now with Ken, it's a little bit different. So I now understand why your mother was feeling what she felt and said what she said, and Elena had alluded to something like that as well, based on, and she was spot on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, maybe she knows some things that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you being her baby, going through what you're going through, and then you see that you're not being treated right. You know, so now we start going back into, well, how were we treated? Now you have people, you know, like myself, who say, you know, interracial relationships are what they are. You love who you love, but for me, it's always got to be that connection with the same skin tone. And this is no disrespect. I just have never fallen in love with anyone but the same color. You know what I'm saying? I don't put my personal relationship on me. There's people sitting in prayers that I don't give it. No, and you're absolutely right. And you know, I think you know, from the crowd that was in here today, Ken, Elena, Chef Todd,
Kyle,
huh?
my cousin Kyle, Allison.
Allison, you know, I mean, there was a level of comfortability for you to put that out there, and we never know what a person's going through. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you put that out there like that means that you know you need, you know, you want help. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You want empowerment. You know what I'm saying? You want enhancement. So I mean, whatever we got to do, you know, talking offline, we got to meet, except we got to go in public. But you know, grab a cigar and play and de-stress with some chess. You know, but I've been wanting to slide out under this chair, you know, for a while. But not on, you know, some jovial stuff, but on some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I seek therapy for a whole different topic, which is combat stress and PTSD from my military affiliations. However, it spills into my relationship because cause straight mayhem, right? And because it's all connected. You know, not that I'm volunteering anybody, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, Elena's been an ear for me, you know what I'm saying? And it's like her spin on things are a little different too, because I'm going at it from one way. She's like, well, maybe you need to look at it from this perspective. I'm like, man, but then, you know, I go back to, you know, she got a point there, you know, and you know, the whole objective is to get everybody through these challenges, man. It's rough out here, you know what I'm saying? And I got a buddy of mine who has diabetes. And, you know, I saw him for the first time yesterday. Terry, I saw Terry, Elena, first time in 3 years.
Wow.
You know, I can see, you know, he just moved back into the area, and I see that he's getting older, you know, and it's just rough. But I want to read this comment, if I may. Ken, my uncle married a white woman. She benefited from his fiscal prowess. And when he got MS, showed her whole ass. I never liked her, not because she was white, but because it was always obvious that she didn't love my uncle. There are beautiful white women out there, but they are a different breed, and you have to know what you're dealing with. They different. You know, yeah. You know, so your mother's on point there, so I understand, you know, now why she was saying what she was saying, even though it is none of her business, but you know, it is her business. You know, that's my baby. You know, you out here, you need to be taken care of. And you know, she's saying, hopefully you'll find someone that's going to nurture you like, you know, I do or did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, if you need to connect offline, man, hit me up.
Yeah, that's why I said, you know, it's
Oh, Allison.
okay, girly.
I've been in a relationship with all skin tones, and the color of their skin didn't make difference on how they treated me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make a difference. Yeah.
That's what I say. You know, you know, as a parent, you want whoever your child is in a relationship with to love them and take care of them. And I would say that my mother tolerated everybody that I was in a relationship with, except for my current boyfriend. She absolutely adores this man. She could not stand the other people that I was with. And I was like, but mommy, why didn't you say anything? She said, because that's your life and you have to live it. You have to learn those lessons.
Yeah.
And I get it. And as mothers, we know, you know, we just have this keen sixth sense, you know, even with when your kids are growing up with the friends that, you know, your kids are friends with. Because my daughter could bring a friend home, even if I didn't like the person upon meeting them. I was cordial. After they left, I told my daughter, I don't want you friends with them no more. Why not, Ma? And I was like, listen, something about them. But she ain't listen. She kept on, come home crying. Mommy. What? Remember? Uh-huh. How you know? Listen, I'm big on energy. And if your energy stinks when you come around me, there's a reason for it. So I should have when my mom gets quiet, that's a key indicator for me that something's up.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't realize that when I was younger. As I got older, I realized. So a good person is a good person, a bad person is a bad person.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Elena said, "Yep." I'm big on energy, and some people's energy stinks, is black, is dark, and I don't. I'm at a point in my life where positive vibes only. Ken said, "Mothers know I trust my mom's intuition because she's usually right," and mothers generally are. I mean, they've been around longer, they've seen a lot more, and you know, my daughter finds it amazing that I was everyone that I didn't like from the very moment that I met them. She always had issue with. She's like, "How do you do that?" It would drive her bananas. But as she got older, she started realizing, all right, if mommy don't like this person, let me just go ahead and walk the other way. That's what I said, you know, as far as setting boundaries. And that goes with platonic relationships as well.
It goes with all relationships.
You know, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your aura. You have to protect your, you know, your energy. Mothers sniff out things in other women that men miss. We're like, you know, it just, Elena, you are absolutely right. And it's, you know, a lot of times it's little things. It's nothing major. Like sometimes it could be the way that the woman looks at the man when, you know, when the man's not looking, or a smart comment or something like that, you know, the guy may shrug off, but the mother's like, oh, I know what you meant by that. You know what I mean? So, you know,
not just mothers, you know, friends. You know what I mean? You know,
mm-hmm.
And they'll pull you up and like, yo, you know, nah, this ain't. I've had that happen. You know, nah,
Mm-hmm.
right, you know.
Yep, I've had friends do that, but for selfish reasons. That's why they're no longer friends.
Gotcha.
And my thing is, if the person isn't doing anything for me, my thing is, this is what I live by. Actions don't lie, people do. And actions speak louder than words. And to quote Maya Angelou, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. And a lot of times we don't want to believe them. We don't want to believe that this person could do this, or this person could say that, or this person could hurt me in this way. They just showed you that they can. So believe that. I was one who kept making excuses for folk. Oh, well, that's just who they are. That's just their demeanor. You got to get to know them and this, that, and the other. Nah, Slim.
Yeah, that comes with age and maturity, though.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
it does.
The older you get, the less. I'm 51. You know, I don't like tolerating a whole bunch of stuff. You know, it used to be, you know, the difference between a red flag and a cutoff. You know what I'm saying? You know, what once was a red flag is a cutoff now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you realize you just don't have time for it. And Stephen Covey said, you can't talk yourself out of something that you behaved yourself into.
Ooh.
You know, people don't change overnight.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
People don't change overnight.
The signs are there, and a lot of times we choose to ignore them. So
I mean, that's a part of the process.
But when you walk away, one of my hashtags on IG is unapologetically me. I'm unapologetic for who I am now. You don't like it? I gives not two shits. I am who I am. Like Elena said, they can kick rocks. You know, they can kick rocks. So we're gonna dive more into the relationship thing. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, and I know people got stuff to do.
We appreciate you guys just hanging tough with us.
Yes, we really do. We're gonna get into the relationship thing. Of course, I'm gonna have to do my homework, but most of it's just, you know, my take on what I see. I've always loved psychology. I've always loved the mind, how the mind works, which is probably why I have a fascination with serial killers. Hold on. Sorry. Just how people's minds are wired differently. It's always been fascinating to me. I think I probably should have been a psychologist. So Ken, just hit me up if you want me to connect you with Les. And I will definitely do that. He's a good person, you know, to talk to bounce some things off of. You're not alone. You don't have to go through this by yourself. This is why we do Black Spasms. Everybody needs a shoulder. Everybody needs, you know, someone to talk to and to vent to, and know that, you know, if you talk to me or if you talk to Les, it's in confidence. It goes no further than, you know, that conversation. That's important. That needs to be said. I don't know if we're gonna do the relationship one next week. Next week is right before Thanksgiving. Cool. Thanks for joining us, Todd. I will give you a heads up, Todd, when we're doing the relationship one, so you can so you can bring your popcorn. Thank you, Elena. I always appreciate your input.
I got one. Can I share the screen right quick?
Yes.
One second.
Hold up, y'all. He want to share something with y'all real quick.
Did it work?
No, did you hit share screen?
Mm-hmm.
After you click it, you got to come back into it. Don't go nowhere, Kyle. They done gone. Most of them go offline. We still got a few on. After you get to what you're doing, you got to come back into the studio.
Yeah, I did. I've done this before. 1 second.
Okay, he wants to share something.
Hey, so
you see it?
No, can hear it.
Later, lose a goodbye. Good.
Coming. Here we go. You see it?
No.
Later. I ain't messing with it.
Okay, fine. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. So again, guys, thank you guys for your love and support. Really appreciate it. We'll determine if, okay, wait a minute, somebody said something. Oh, Ken says he's still here. We'll determine if we do a show next week or not, since it's the day before Thanksgiving. We might just wait till the week after, because I know people probably, well, I don't know who's actually doing Thanksgiving at their home, but people might be cooking this, that, and other. So we'll make a decision, and I'll put it on my page, if we decide to do a show next week. But we thank you guys. We love you guys. We truly, truly, truly appreciate your support and hanging with us and your feedback. It means so much. I love the interaction. I love the comments. You keep us on our toes, which is great, great, great. We got another comment.
Hey, can you, Nikki, can you do it?
What you want me to do?
Go to YouTube.
Yep. Go ahead.
My wife and kids.
Yep.
See you later, comma. Hit the road.
Okay.
It should be a 15-second one up there.
Oh, okay.
This is what we tell. This is what we tell folks when they try to invade our personal space.
All right, hold up.
Make sure the volume's on so we can hear.
Yeah. I had to get it first. Hold up. Hold up, Kyle. All right. So, okay.
You gotta check out this podcast.
Hey, so long. See you, sucker. Bon voyage. Arrivederci. Later, loser. Goodbye. Good riddance. Peace out. Let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Don't come back round here no more. Hasta visa. Kick rocks and get the hell out.
Wait, let me play it again. Hold on.
Hey, so long. See you, sucker. Bon voyage. Arrivederci. Later, loser. Goodbye. Good riddance. Peace out. Let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Don't come back round here no more. Hasta visa. Kick rocks and get the hell out.
That was cute.
This what we
All
are.
right, Chef. Thank you. Talk to you later. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call this a day, and I'll put it on my page about next week. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.